Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumu and it's great to be on the show once again. This is a show where we discuss all things books. We love to hear from you and we're always excited when you send us those messages. So please keep them coming on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. We particularly love the messages that came after we aired last week, the second part of the interview with Dele Ogun on his book, A Slave Ship Called Jesus. Fascinating one that was. Well, the World Poetry Week. We don't like to say World Poetry Day because all over the world, almost a week is spent just celebrating poetry across the world. Poetry is something that always impresses me, maybe because I've given it a shot a few times, trying to write my own poems, but I just get stuck somewhere at one point or another. Well, our guest for today is a brilliant poet. But he's not just a poet, he's a lawyer. He's also, guess what? A judge, a customary court judge. And he's done so well for himself as a writer. Well, let's get to meet with him and enjoy this conversation around his works and, of course, poetry.
Kufre Ntuk is a lawyer, writer, poet, and author. He's a customary court judge with the Akwa Ibom State Judiciary. Kufre has a diploma in international relations from the University of Uyo and is currently writing his master's dissertation in law in the same university. He joins Channel's Book Club to discuss his anthology of poems, Torus of Verses.
Kufre, it's nice to have you on Channel's Book Club. Welcome.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Great to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for writers, but particularly when a writer is a poet, huge respect. And you fill both shoes, so well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
How
much.
long have you been writing?
As far as I can recall or remember, I've been a writer all my life.
Oh,
Like
when you were very young.
Young. I like writers. I like journalists. I read a lot of books and magazines.
That's
and
interesting.
I started writing.
What influenced that? Your parents, were they teachers? Were they journalists or writers?
Well, my dad worked in the court, and he ensured that he bought every newspaper he can that he can find
every day.
Every day. And I took it upon myself. From when I started reading, I read all of them.
Wow.
And I like you. In those days, they were very good journalists. People would write, and I just had the intuition to learn from what I read. I learned from people that in the time of the Ray Booth, the late Delegiwa, this gifted journalist, this Sonny Rabo, this Rabo of FRC, and back then, I just listened to journalists, and I started writing.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to write. Just was waiting for the opportunity to write.
Wow. It's amazing how influential parents can be. When we talk about the reading culture, getting kids to read, children to read, it comes down to parents a lot of times.
Yes.
The kind of environment, atmosphere you create.
Certainly.
At home.
And it's getting worse these days because children are driven to visuals more, what they watch on television, like, movies, all those things. But the reading culture is practically dead. And we have to make a conscious effort to bring it back. It is a conscious effort to work on the youth of today, the younger generation. If not, we'll be losing them. We're losing reading culture. And I thank God for the little I've been able to do and a lot more that I will do in the future because I hope to write more and more. So we have to bring back the reading days.
So that reading culture you imbibed when you were very young influenced your choice of profession. Is that correct?
Certainly. At a point now when I left secondary school, incidentally, I studied both science and arts in my secondary school days.
Yeah.
So I was torn between where do I go from here? I saw the appeal of arts coming more. So I said, okay, I have to be a lawyer. I also have to be a writer, either a journalist, a presenter, or just a writer. So naturally, I worked towards that. And by the grace of God, I became a lawyer. And then I couldn't just let go of writing. I just started it.
Interesting background story. But how about poetry? How did you now get into poetry?
My love for poetry, I don't know, in the process of reading, and when I read poems, I had the challenge of understanding them. I said, how do you understand what these people write? So that nudge to understand what poetry was all about, what poets were writing, is what eventually led me into actually wanting to become a poet. And it all started back then, too, as I've put in this book. I made conscious effort at it. I paid a price. I used to go to the library in Eket in Akwa Ibom State back then. Go in there, everyone will read and leave the library. I would just turn around and see that I'm the only one left. I'll be trying to get into the heart of poetry, just with dictionary by my side, checking out words, meaning of words, and all that. And then the thing just came natural that this is your calling. You belong here. Stick with this. This is yours.
Well,
I just started.
Interesting. And that, of course, led to this book.
Very well.
Your anthology of poems.
Yes.
Is it your first anthology of poems?
Yeah, my first.
Oh, fantastic.
That's about 79 poems.
So, can you take us through this? I mean, I'm sure viewers are curious. What do you have in here?
Okay. I have about 79 poems in there, in the book. And 28 of them are on normal poetry.
General topics.
General topics, yes.
Yeah, you wrote on time.
Yeah.
You wrote on women. You wrote on guns. You wrote on gold.
That's it, sir. Those were just varied topics I decided to write about. And then somewhere along the line, I felt like poetry hasn't given much to people. You know, there's what we do in Africa. We celebrate the dead more than the living. As, let's just say, what you're doing, what you've been doing over the years, which I've been watching you, people have put in a lot in life. People have done so many things. People have sacrificed. But people just overlook. And maybe when they die eventually, you will see chronology of everything he was. That man is dead and gone. He was a legend. He was an icon. He was this, he was that. He cannot hear. He cannot see. He cannot appreciate. He doesn't know what you're doing, what you've done. So that consciousness came to me too. Why not begin to immortalize people? Why not begin to write about the philanthropic nature of people is very important in life, because a lot of people are suffering. Go to hospital, you see people. So when people make conscious about making life easy for people through philanthropy, you have to eulogize them. So I have written 50 Nigerians.
50 Nigerians. So,
yes.
So your other poems, apart from the first 29,
yes,
then are about individuals.
Yes.
I found that very unique. I was racking my head. I couldn't remember ever reading anything like that, where I pick up a book and a lot of it is about poems written about people, individuals.
Yes.
It's very interesting. Okay, so that was what motivated, that was what inspired the idea.
Certainly. Certainly.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, let's start with the first 29. Which of them sticks out for you that you'd like to share with us? I'd like you to talk about it and then read, recite the poem or read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All of them have special appeals to me. Recently, we just celebrated the International Women's Day and Mother's Day. So the poem on women sticks. It stands out. And why is that? You know, women have also put in a lot to life. And I don't know whether we men really appreciate them much. And so I thank God for this International Day of Women, blah, blah. So we can take time out and really look at what is a woman, who is a woman, and see the pains they bear from childbirthing to taking care of the family. Women are out there struggling, running around, but a woman has got to make the home to go on. It's on her shoulders. You can struggle, come back in the night, sleep over, but woman, she's thinking, well, actually, what are the children going to eat in the morning? Even you as the man provide the money, the woman has to rag her brain on how to provide.
These days where the women go to work like the men, you know,
they still have family in their head.
Yes, and they're out there all day. They still have the home, the family.
Yes.
In mind. Fantastic.
So I had to eulogize it. So
so you're going to read that?
I'm going to read that. Still to commemorate the International Mother's Day. I have a mother who's in the hospital.
You can see that I had even marked this. I suspected you would read it.
You see how the spirit works?
I marked it.
You see how the spirit works. That's page 26.
Okay, so let's do a quick one on that because of our time.
Okay.
Page 26, your poem on woman.
On woman. Call her pot of pudding or pot of sweet. Woman is the sweetest thing, truly sweet. She is soft and tender, that's why she's woman, majorly made to feel sunken, somber soul of man. Humanity is an expression of deep love, but the heart of a woman harbors much love. From the Caribbean to European skyline, Asia, America, Africa, contoured beauties align. The slim, more in vogue, and most fashionable, but the voluptuous, her pride of place valuable, ravishing shape and size, sonorous complexion, her memory, part of her materialias and titillation. Love of a beauteous woman sickens as furs of apricots. In that phantom clinic of love, she alone is antidote. She's time-tested pot of sweet, sweetened by nature, seraphic, therapeutic, irrespective of stature. She's goodly and endowed with telluric brilliance. She is the vessel of virtues and valiance. She can be assertive, perhaps authoritative, needs a cool, soothing hand, not punitive. The qualities of bad and good she's imbued. She's good when granted self-expression, bad rebuked. Angered, she's a raging, rainy dynamite. Happily in love, she turns with all her might. She is intelligent, she is wise, and a builder of men and nations, except provoked, not a contender. Her ounce of wisdom is worth a king's ransom. Despise not, for an ugly man it can make handsome. She is the grace for grace, and the peace in peace. She is symbol of excellence and ease, wouldn't cease. In men rule spheres, good seeds she has sown. In academics, sports, everything, she is zenith grown. A prime praise prose evokes her charm. Her heart, a depot for peace, not a sham. The unsolid unnerves the unversed of men. In ecstatic cordial exuberance, the noblest loses mien. She is the apotheosis of love, bank of loving wishes. Like buttered sandwich by choice, she dishes her sugared oval and price plantation of pleasure, for which men maim, kill, or fall to keep as treasure. Her magnet clone pudenda must tickle one's pickle. To the lecherous, some wheedling web hard to tackle. Crowns, brands, hard men at her beck, hearken, as a duty fertilize her evergreen garden. West end savagery by centric poles, pristine dames hate. Dated the fight to keep away ravenous, ravaging mates. With tact and modesty, oh, sweetness incomparable. Men, unlike Samson, have proved the unconquerable. Her eyes, the portals of her disarming sweetness. In her arms reside the electrons of warmness. Her tickling body, a sensual magnetic field. Her heart's center opened, an erotic safety shield. An arduous journey of 9 months has to undertake, our kind to bring forth with painful joy in the wake. She is midnight rosy fragrance that wakes the half-dead, sweet as candy, richer than chocolate in lemonade. Her mouth whispers timeless erotic endearments to the waiting ears of her love in no wonderment. Woman is a pot of pudding, creation super creation. She's the wonder, cream, and honey of creation.
Oh, wow. I'm sure all the women out there are blushing.
It's the least I can do for them.
I'm dedicating this poem to my wife.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes, madam, that's for you.
Wow. Fantastic. Okay. This is really, really so. It's very impressive the way you weave your words. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
A lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts must have gone into this.
Very well.
How long did it take you to write this?
This and this.
I mean this. This
poem.
Itself.
I was
this particular poem.
Okay, this particular woman poem.
Yeah.
Oh, this poem got me sweating. I perspired because I had to look the words over and over, change a lot of things. I think this poem took me probably a month to finally get over with.
Wow.
Probably a month.
Interesting. And you've written about Aliko Dangote, Jim Ovia, Dele Momodu. Interesting. You've written about Wole Soyinka. You've written about J.J. Okocha, Genevieve Naji. You've written about Uwem Okoko.
Regina Daniels.
You've written about Abdul Rabiu, Funshola Kija, Michael Adenuga, and quite a number of. This is like a pioneer work, really, in terms of poetry for public figures.
It is. It is. And I'm honored to have brought it to bear.
To have written this. You should write one for me too now. How about
Certainly. The second edition will take care of me.
I'm joking. Please.
No, it wouldn't be bad. You're doing a good job. You're promoting intellectual sagacity with this program.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So your other book.
Yes, Tribe of the West.
Tribe of the West. This how I've not read this.
No, you haven't.
But I should.
I took delivery of it last night from the publisher.
Oh, it's
brand
just fresh
new. Fresh.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Is it poetry too?
No, it's prose.
Prose.
Yes.
Okay.
It's about Ibibio, my tribe of the Western. An ironic title because the sun cannot be wet. Normally dry and hot. But we are trying to look at the wetness of the tropical south that I come from the south. So we are looking at the sun there as being wet when it's not actually wet. It's a wetland.
Your book sounds like it's going to throw you in the historian category too, by the way, despite all you have said. So Kufre, poet, literary writer, historian, novelist. I'm trying to picture you as a customary judge. How do you? Wow. I mean, on a normal day, you're a judge.
I'm a customary court judge.
Lawyer, judge. I'm trying to picture you there. I hope I don't have to bring any case before you.
I have had to work so hard to keep all of this going. Most of I wanted to say these two books have I've used about 6 to 7 years to complete these two works.
Wow.
Why? Because intermittently, I have to do my own real work. I have to read books. I have to read law books. I have to write judgments. I have to do all of that. I must, and I do them. So it's an intermarriage of many things, and I like it because this is me. This is who I want to be.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, when I leave planet Earth, I want to be remembered for all these. So I take delight in writing. I take delight in doing my work as a lawyer and as a customary court judge, and I do it well to the best of my ability. There's no. I'm not found wanting in any area.
Kufre, you are a hero, and I always say to people, it's great to see people on TV. The politicians are there, the sportsmen are there, we TV people are there, and all. But it's people like you, that really move Nigeria. You are the real inspirations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm most honored.
And keep doing your thing. And thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Charles, I want to thank you, a special thank you to you, Mr. Kazuo. I've watched you over the years. At a point, I never thought I could get here, but chance and opportunity, they say, bet something. So I think this is a new marriage between me and Channels. From time to time, I guess we'll be coming here. I thank you for this opportunity. I'm not taking it lightly.
Thank you. We're honored to have you here. Thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club. Thank you for your compliment. Thank you. Multi-talented gentleman. Well, if you want to write your own poem, give it a shot. Go out there, give it a shot. And then, if you don't mind, share it with us on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. And then we'll see how that goes. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Well, up next, the Lagos Book Walk 2024 took place recently. You'll recall last year, we were right there when it was happening. Inspiring effort, inspiring initiative, promoting the reading culture in Nigeria. Enjoy this.
As part of its efforts to promote book reading culture in Lagos State and the country at large, the Network of Book Clubs and Reading Culture Promoters in Nigeria, NBRP, has held the second edition of the Lagos Book Walk in the state. As usual, the Lagos Book Walk, which aims at stimulating greater interest in books and reading, hosted stakeholders in the book chain. This year's edition commenced from Falomo through Onikon House Library to Freedom Park. At the Freedom Park, the participants joined the children's session, which included a creative workshop, writing competition, and reading sessions, amongst others.
Aside from school time, please spend that time reading.
In his remarks, Secretary General for the Committee for Relevant Art, Kora Toyin Akinosho, encouraged children to use the Kora Library resource.
Part of the reason why we're having this relationship with the network of book readers, book clubs, and reading culture promoters in Nigeria is to attract organizations that will utilize the spaces. I mean, this is not for any charges. When we went to school, there were libraries in those schools. Now, a lot of schools in Lagos don't have libraries. But we're offering this space here, the Kora Library Resource, as a space for schools to use as their library, and this is the beginning.
Participants gave their thoughts on the event and the impact it would have on the state's reading culture.
Today especially, too many people are engrossed with their phones, and many times what they are on the phones are not really profitable to their intellectual progress. Let me put it like that. So with books, you are always learning about everything around you. So we encourage that people read. If you see very successful people around in the world today, they got there because of the knowledge they acquired. It can be your reading online, it can be the physical books. The important thing is that you read.
The experience was very nice because I got to organize a mini poetry competition amongst them. I was able to get 5 top winners from there. And I was able to know how they see education as, because that was the topic that I gave them, education.
Books are very interesting to read. It also encourages our education. Like, it also helps our critical thinking skills. Yes. And foster our growth.
Despite the financial constraints, the NBRP president, Richard Mama, explained what has kept the vision of the roadblock going.
Even when this particular edition was very difficult for us financially to put together, we insisted that if we don't do it, right, we would have, failed ourselves and our people an opportunity to help fix the problem. We did the first one, it went on well, we believe successfully, and we think that we need to do this. We think we need to do the next one, which we have already scheduled to do in Ikorodu, the next one which we have scheduled to do in Badagry. You know, we think we need to do this work for something like 30 years before we will get that critical mass to get the mass of the people of Lagos getting to understand once again, right, that they've got to take reading important.
In Jim Rohn's words, reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. Therefore, for a greater Nigeria, there's need for more readers.
The Nigeria Prize for Literature is on again for 2024. Well, you might want to get in there and compete. Remember, it's the biggest literary award on the continent of Africa, and it closes for this year on the 2nd of April, 2024. So if you're a writer and you want to hit it big on the literary stage in Africa, you have to go after the Nigeria Prize for Literature. It's on again, and entries are still open until 2nd of April, 2024. This is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumu. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.